Right then, I just thought I'd give a little bit of an insight into a company that I was employed for 8 years and a few months. I believe I was employed September 2000 at the Greenford side of Entertainment UK, a company that was owned by Woolworths. And obviously there's been a lot in the press about Woolies and etc. Not so much about Entertainment UK, although that is the profitable part of Woolworths, or was, I should say. And I just thought I'd give my view and also talk about some of my times at Entertainment UK. Obviously on Friday the 12th of December, the meeting was supposed to take 10 o'clock, but they couldn't even organise that properly, and I don't know if that was because of Entertainment UK's management or because of Delight, the administrator's management. Because it was quite, there was a lot of chaos. People were told to go into different rooms, and then the meeting, there was an email, people came and said, could office staff all go back, they're going to get an email and etc. They went back, and apparently the email said the meeting's going to take place at 10:30, which is a little bit ludicrous really, and considering it's such a big, we didn't know what was going to take place. We obviously thought it was going to be redundancy, but we weren't sure whether it was going to be good news, bad news or whatever. So it's such an important moment, you'd think that they'd be able to organise that properly. So we were waiting around for an extra half an hour, and eventually they came and told us in a very shambolic manner, although politely put, that basically they'd exhausted all avenues trying to find a buyer for Entertainment UK, and without giving too much away, they talked about the difficulties that they had, especially with suppliers. Now, obviously, this is probably due to, I can only guess, obviously, that this is to do with the fact that because Entertainment UK is one of the only companies that supplies the UK with its entertainment, there are others, but they're a lot smaller. And I believe that Entertainment UK is considered Europe's biggest at doing this, or at least the UK's, of just giving multimedia and entertainment products to the likes of Zavvi, Woolworths, as we used to, didn't we? Tesco's, we did books, Amazon, and lots of others. Sainsbury's as well. So, what was I actually saying now? I don't even remember. So yeah, suppliers, yeah. So because we went down, obviously, and we weren't distributing anything despite what was being said, we did distribute a little bit towards the end of the 2 weeks of administration that I was involved with him. Obviously then companies like Zavvi and etc. Were going to the suppliers direct to get the products. Obviously this wouldn't be able to get catalogued, old stuff would be going to get a new issue and stuff like that. But I suspect suppliers thought, whoa, just a minute, for years we've been, losing out money here, and suddenly they're getting direct orders, and obviously these stores would have been paying, I suspect, a lot more from getting it direct because of the situation they found themselves in, that they needed to fill up their stores because this is the peak period, and because we had fallen through EUK, they obviously were able, I suspect, to make a good killing out of these stores. And obviously then they must have thought, well, wait a minute, why should we go back to EUK when we can do this ourselves? And smothered us, basically, I suspect. That's probably the wrong word to use, but didn't help us, I suppose, is the correct word, and enabled them to get a foothold in this new market, which is interesting. I suppose you can't blame them. That's business, isn't it? You do that in business. If you're given an opportunity, you don't let it go by. And it'd be interesting to know whoever, because at the moment, obviously on the 12th, 700 of us or so, I believe that's the number, were made redundant through the different sites, and a very small core number of people were kept. Obviously that caused a lot of controversy over who was picked, And it's quite interesting that the people who are long-term sick or sick can't be made redundant, so they were actually saved, as it were, for a month to 3 months. Now, they never said clearly what had actually happened. They said that they had to make us redundant and they couldn't find anyone, but they didn't actually use the word that we'd gone into liquidation, although in the pack that they gave us it does mention the people are staying because they want to get rid of, to sell the assets, which does sound like liquidation, but they haven't sort of worked to us, they didn't mention that word. So it seems to suggest we're still in administration. So it is always possible that a buyer could be found. I believe there were several that were interested. I know the one that was mentioned a lot in the media was Sony BMG, and it is possible that what will happen is everything will get sold, and then they will take, whoever takes over will then re-employ a lot of the people that used to work there on better contracts, not for us, for them, I suspect. Yeah, it's a clever way of doing it. I mean, why? You know, the problem I have with the whole administration issue is that they're not really there to help us as a business. They're really there to make the money, as much money as possible, to get back out of debt for the 400 million that Woolies and EUK jointly had made. And so they must be thinking, you know, obviously intrinsically those warehouses with all that equipment, you know, could be worth, say, like 100 million, say. It'd be a lot more than that, but let's say it's worth 100 million, all those sites, just the intrinsic sort of scrap metal, as it were, insides. So obviously, if a company says, oh, look, I'll buy them for 50 million, you know, and take them off your hands, then they're going to say no. I mean, great for us, we would have been able to survive. But obviously for them, they're thinking, well, just a minute, if we scrap everything, we're going to get 100 million. So that must have been the bar price that whoever had to offer must have had to offer over that price, I suspect. I mean, I'm only guessing from this type of thing, but I could see that happening. And I suspect that's why a lot of these people were turned down, including the Woolworths ones. We know a lot were turned down, and you've got to ask why were they turned down if they had the capital. Anyway, so it looks like Entertainment UK is going to go down, and probably Woolies as well. I know there's been a lot of, I've heard that people in Woolworths were blaming Entertainment UK for this situation, although everyone in Entertainment UK knows the true situation, that it's really Woolies that are to blame for us going down. We were a profitable business for over 10 years. EUK made profits, unlike Woolies, which only, I believe, made profit last year, which a lot of people wondered how they made that profit, and we didn't, strangely, even though we had a really good year. And I don't really know what's taken place. Also, a lot of, you know, when we were at Entertainment UK, we knew there were little bits of problem with paying Nintendo and Extraman, the agency that's used there. But we obviously thought it was due to Woolies having troubles not being able to give us money. But now we find out that we were quite in debt. I'm not quite sure how a profitable business like us got in debt. I can only assume it was poor management. And it'd be interesting what happens to these top managers who, you know, for years EUK had been a profitable business. It's one of the only businesses there, had all the great customers. They always tirelessly worked in getting big customers. When we lost Tesco's, we were in a difficult situation, but we've got THE, we've got Bertram's, we've got Sainsbury's, we've got Zavvi, and we actually had more customer than we had even with Tesco. So we survived that, a situation we didn't think we would survive. And then to lose everything, and apparently the estimates of how much in debt we are go from 40 to 60 to 100 million pounds, owning Microsoft, and I know Zavvi owed us 60 million, which I believe they did pay in the end, I think, and we owed lots of different, Extraman, I believe we owned them 3 months, and there was lots of different ones we owned the money, and I'm not really sure how this came about, because we were never made aware of any of this kind of situation. I know it's not something that DC workers need to be told about, but we were always told that we were okay, and etc. and whatever. We knew it was going to be a tough year, but how did it get to that situation? And from we always, if you look at, they used to show us a graph of the profit we used to make, and we get bonuses. And if you look at it, the graph used to get, it went sort of like that all the way up. We only last year did it go down just slightly, and so that shows, you know, how did it then go from all the way like that to boom, like that? I mean, how did that happen? You know, it wasn't credit crunch. There must have been poor management decision or something. I know a lot of people, you know, in these situations, they do think of very controversial ideas that possibly there somewhere some money has disappeared somewhere. I know there's a lot of people who did wonder about how Woolies made profit last year and we didn't, despite having a really good year. And I know we also, well, I believe that last year, because we didn't get a bonus, the money that was used for the bonus was actually used to pay off our debts, which is strange. Maybe we did have a problem that was escalating and that wasn't really capped. I don't really know, and I doubt we ever will really know. I mean, it'd be nice to know how this all really came about, to clear up and to get a clearer answer of how a profitable company managed to disappear. I mean, I know we owed money, but we would have made it up through Christmas anyway. And I suspect the real problem came with Woolies, because the amount that we may have owed maybe 60 to 100 million pounds, whereas obviously the total is 400 million. So that's 300 million that Woolies are in debt. So there's no way that anyone from Woolies can blame Entertainment UK. They might be blaming them because we added the extra burden, but the real issue is their 300 million.